So I'm starting again because I want to get a bit more like intimate because this one's a bit dark. So this is the second installment of Dating Fails. Um, I have just chopped off my acrylics because I start roller derby next week. And I'm really feeling sad about it because I'm so used to my long nails and I'm really expressive with my hands, and I just feel like, who the fuck am I? I just have to remember that people like Emily Autumn have short nails and she's a queen. She plays the violin. It's okay. It's okay. Seriously, it's okay. So for this story, we have to get into some background. So it's a bit long-winded, but I will try and keep it as brief as possible, the backstory. But to cut it short, I haven't dated anyone in a year and a half because I have really special needs. Like, I don't want to say special needs, but I have a lot of requirements, and yeah, I am homoromantic, I'm asexual, I'm a lesbian, I'm goth, and that proves really difficult to match as many of those needs as possible. It's really hard. I mainly stick to online profiles because I don't know, many people when they meet me they think I'm straight, and I have so many things that I need in a relationship. It's so much easier to filter its categories online. Not that that has worked in the past anyway, but yeah. So I have lied so much in the past about being asexual, mainly because I don't really know why. Mainly because I have a huge internal. Whoa, sorry. Mainly because it's a huge internal struggle for me, and I'm only just coming to terms with it. So in the past, I would get into relationships and I wouldn't be honest about being ace, and it would get to a point where maybe we want to be slightly intimate and I would run away screaming, and that's really awkward, and you end up not talking to people ever again. And honestly, my asexuality makes me really naive sometimes, and that's going to be like another dating fail story. But sometimes I don't really understand what people's intentions are, and it just is very complicated. So, New Year, New Me was like, I'm gonna be upfront from the very beginning about being asexual, which is what I should have done all along. I know, but it's been a really hard battle for me. She says, like, it's the hardest thing in the world, but if I could change one thing about myself, it would be my asexuality. I hate it. I hate it with like every core of my being, and I'm really trying to learn and to love it and accept it, but it's really hard for me. So this year, I was like, I'm gonna make a profile. I'm gonna delete all my other profiles, and I'm gonna be so honest, like, this is what I am, this is what I want. If you're into it, message me. And I didn't put a picture, I put like half a picture. And I was like, no one's ever gonna message this because it looks like a catfish. It was really scary, and I even said in my profile, I was like, I know this is scary, but like, I'm legit and we can video chat, and like, I'll prove that I'm real. Like, straight away, it's not even an issue, because I know that it looks so shady. So to my surprise, I actually got a message from somebody who was into what I was into too. I don't want to get into it too much, but let's just say that I like to take on a more dominant role in a relationship, and I was looking for someone to fill the other role. So long as they're okay with me being ace and like all of my other things I have going on. And I was really surprised that someone like normal had replied to my really uber creepy post. And we were talking for a while, and it was going really like nicely, to the point where I started to tell people about it, which is not something I do. I'm a very, very private person, especially with relationships. But I felt like this had so much potential. We were polar opposites, but it was so exciting and so refreshing, and it made me realize that this is really what I'm looking for. So I was really excited, and we had planned our first date. Um, but something in me was like, something in me just can't trust. And we had planned to go and see a musical. Now, this musical is something that I deeply treasure and am very obsessed with, and you may have seen it on this channel already. It is Six. And I thought, this is just too good to be true. And if this goes badly, I'm worried for myself, and I'm worried for the things that I love. And at the moment, I really deeply love Six, and I feel so empowered by it. And I thought, if I see this musical and the date goes badly or something happens like it did, I'm going to be really crushed, and it's going to feel really ugly and tainted. So I booked a ticket to see it myself. And you might take that as you will, but later on in the story, I think it's a win for me. So anyway, the day before our date, I'm on Instagram and I see a suspicious post from my date. And the place where we're going together is a very unique place. There's not many places like it. This is really annoying me. I don't know why it's doing it. Can I just stop? So the date we're going to, the place we're going is very unique. And I saw a picture and it looked like that place. So I was like, did she do what I did? Because I kind of dig that. If she's gone there, that's really cool. But at the same time, I was like, it's not really somewhere you can solo trip to, and I'm someone that solo trips everywhere, always. So I just didn't look at the post anymore because there were two photos you swipe. So I left it, and let's just keep that in mind. So we go on a date, and it was really lovely. I'm someone who is really sensitive. I have a massive wall up, but I am very sensitive, and I'm triggered by Valentine's Day. Usually every Valentine's Day, it makes me very, very, very down. I don't want to say depressed, but oh my god. I don't want to say depressed, but yeah, it's not a happy time for me. And at my work, people would receive flowers on that day, and I'd have to give them out at the desk, and I would just feel so down. So it was so refreshing to do something on Valentine's Day, and it just felt so good to be out with all the other couples. I was just really happy, and I just had such good feelings about this whole thing. And the date went really well, apart from one little bit. So I didn't know, like, the etiquette of, like, I don't really know how to date, seriously, because I haven't dated for a year and a half, and even those dates, I always do the most, and somehow it puts girls off. So I was like, I'm not gonna get something crazy, but I can't show up without a gift, because in my eyes, that's rude. Even if it's just something small, it's a special day. She worked in a supermarket, so you're surrounded by a lot of things that you could get for like £1. So I got a teddy bear, like a little stuffed llama, because she likes plushies, and I tied a ribbon on it, and I made a little heart sign. I painted it, and then it said, "Will you be my Valentine?" Because I couldn't find any cards that were normal. And we've been talking every day at this point. We'd even spoken about like how good we'd be for each other, and even if things went badly, we would be really good friends, because I could really help her open up as a person and just like have new experiences. So it just, everything was positive, and I was like, if I don't get a gift, that's really like sad. So I got her this teddy bear, and I didn't get a card because they're all like, to my undying love and my husband, and they were all weird. So I was like, okay, no card, but that's a bit too much anyway. So I had it in my bag, and we were in this little parlor, and I took it out, and I was like, I wasn't really sure what to get you. I'm sorry if it's too much, but I thought it was really cute. And it's not obviously Valentine's, it was just a little llama with a heart in its mouth. And I said something like, I couldn't come with nothing because that would be really bad. Exactly what I said. And she said like, oh, and she just was getting all funny. And she was like, I got you something, but my friend said it was too much, so I didn't bring it. And I was like, oh, it's okay. Like, I'm not bothered. Valentine's Day is just a stupid day to get company's money. But, inside I was really hurt that she didn't get me anything. I was like, this is really horrible. But I gave her the llama, and that was the worst part of the date because it was really awkward. And she really liked him, and I didn't have anything. And I was really hurt because I'm very romantic, and Valentine's Day triggers me always. So even on a Valentine's Day date, I was still triggered. So that was the worst part of the date. But other than that, it was really nice, and it was so nice to be out with somebody, just with the couples, just the mood and like the whole vibe. Everyone was out, like love in the air. But I'm a sucker for it. So we went to the theatre. We saw the show. We had to rush a bit. We were running a bit late. And then I took her back to the train station, and we waited for her train to come. She sent me a really lovely message when she was on the train, and I just felt so hopeful. I was like, maybe finally I'm gonna have a relationship with somebody. And it felt so good. I just called my friend, and I just told her like all about the date. And then the next day, keeping in mind we message each other every day, I messaged her, and I had bought a takeaway cupcake for my nan and for Valentine's Day, and when I came home and gave it to her, the whole cake had turned upside down and it looked like a shit because it was a chocolate cake. And I told my date about it because I thought it was funny, and she said like, oh, AHH, and then like a sad face, and I was like, that's really weird. Like, I'm trying to have a conversation, and we usually would have a normal conversation. But her responses just didn't make sense, and they were all kind of weird. And I was like, you know what? Maybe she's busy, but at this point I knew her work schedule, and I knew that there's nothing going on at this time anyway. But I was like, people are busy, maybe something's going on. So the next day, the replies are pretty much the same, and I'm starting to get a vibe. So I was like, let me just tell her, I'm going to ask her a very blunt question where I need a yes or a no response. And from this question, I can gauge if she doesn't like me, or I did something bad on the date, or just she wasn't attracted to me, whatever. So I just sent a message because honestly, I value honesty so much. At this point, if you don't like me, that's okay. I'm a big woman. You can tell me and it's fine. But you have to tell me so I can move on with my life before I get too invested in you. I already have feelings for you, like not majorly, but obviously we've been talking for a little bit at this point. And because I don't communicate often with people like romantically, when I do find somebody that I like, it sort of goes very extreme. So I've already been trying to pace myself. So I just asked, would you like to see me again? Like, would you like to go out again? And I didn't receive a response for hours. And I'm not a person that goes on Instagram and like stalks out their whole exes and knows their whole life and whatever. I really hate that type of thing. I just would rather someone be upfront, and we don't have to have that insecurities and that need to do that. So I went back and I found that pink picture that I had seen the day before our date, and I scrolled to the next bit, and there was a Polaroid of a girl, like a picture of 2 Polaroids. And I was like, okay, this is a bit weird. So I clicked on the name, and literally the next post was a pretty sky, and I clicked it and I swiped it. This was on the other girl's page. And the next picture was my date, a Polaroid of my date, and she was like this. And the caption was a pretty girl, or like a beautiful girl or something. So I scrolled down, and in the comments it was like, my heart, ooh, and like I can't, like, oh, mushy mush, not a way that you talk to a friend. And I was like, this is why she's not replying to me. So I screenshot it all, and I'm gonna show my friend. And literally as I screenshot what I found, she had replied to my message, and she said that she would love to see me again, but only as friends, if that's okay. So let me tell you that I do not play. I have so much love and respect for myself. You're not gonna do me like that. There's no way. You're not gonna try and friend zone me after the evidence I've just found, and the fucking pictures that you didn't even try to hide, you blatantly posted on your Instagram. And she's very sensitive and very opposite to me, and I took that and I fucking went in, because I know that it's gonna hurt her, but she deserves it, because that is fucked up. Literally so fucked up. And I said, is it because you're seeing someone else already? She deserves it, because you're not gonna disrespect me like that. Not when I know what you're doing, and then you're gonna try and friend zone me and crush me like that after we've been talking about how we both have like semi feelings already, and we had so much. I thought we were both looking forward to this meeting, and that it was like special to both of us and not just me. So I went hard, and she was saying, it just happened so fast. I just suddenly developed feelings for this person, and I've never been in a situation like this before. I just didn't know what to do. I just wanted to go on our date and just see if you could change my mind. Like, are you fucking serious? What type of psycho are you? Like, that's so messed up. It's so gross. It's so messed up. Especially when from the very beginning I had said outright what I was looking for, and I had even said that open relationships were a possibility to me, and non-monogamy, because I know there's a lot that I can't provide, and I'm happy for you to go elsewhere and do that, but we were both on the same page, so I thought, about honesty. Apparently not. So she had wanted to come on this date with me, which we had planned for a long time. Keep in mind, we had tickets for the theatre. So we had planned it maybe a month in advance that we were going to go and see it. And she had just last minute gone on a date the day before our pre-planned date, which we had tickets for. To see, like, if I could compare with her. Sorry, I'm mad. I just think it's gross. I just don't know how you can disrespect a person like that. At least be upfront and be honest with me that you're seeing someone else, because when I commit to someone, you're the only person that I'm talking to. I have no interest in even communicating with anyone else. Like, even my best friends took a backseat, so I, like, just all my focus was on you. And then you do that to me. And then you try and friend zone me after you've done that to me. It's just the ultimate disrespect. And I just completely annihilated her. And I was like, this is not okay. I'm not some experiment. You should have been upfront with me, and you should have told me that you were on a date with someone else, because I would have acted I would have acted very differently. And I would have made you pay for your half of the bill. Like, it's not even about money. Money, to me, like, if I have the money, you know what, I'm gonna spend it. I'm gonna just live my life. I work so that I can just do what I want, dress how I want, have what I want. It's not even about the money. It's surely the respect and the principle. But you were happy to idly sit back and let me pay for things and, you know, treat you really nicely on that day and make you feel special and get you a flower from the waiter, and you wanted to take pictures with me and you took a candid photo of me. Like, what are you gonna do with this stuff? It's gross. It makes me feel sick. I don't know what she wanted, why she asked the waiter to take a picture of us outside. Is it so you can show your other woman? It's so gross. So I annihilated her in the chat because I know she's sensitive and I know it was going to get to her. And I was just like, this is not okay. You're so disingenuous and you have no regard for people's feelings. It's really fucked up. And I hope you know that you've really hurt me and you're really disgusting. And I was like, don't ever message me again. I had been so upfront with you about being ace and being open to an open relationship. And this is like how you treated me after I gave you like such a lovely day, and treated you so well, and like I really thought that we had potential, and this whole time you had been talking to someone else, and secretly dating them and like comparing us in a sick, twisted way. Like, is this a game? And I just made her know that it is not okay to fuck with people's emotions and feelings like that, and that I had feelings for her and she completely betrayed me by acting like that. I just slayed her because I know it would make her cry. I really hope she cried because she fucking deserves to cry. And I just went hard. And I'll add in the clip later. I changed my display picture to what I'll add in later. And I blocked her everywhere. And then I went back onto the dating site where we met so that I could block her. And there's a little section that says values. And her value was, I value honesty. So, moral of this is to always look out for yourself and put yourself first. Take steps and precautions when getting involved in new relationships that it can go badly. And if you have a guard up from the start, just protect yourself and look after yourself because you are the most important person. And secondly, I give up on dating. I just give up. I am now fully focused on my roller derby, and finding new employment at the moment. And I'm just on a sort of self journey at the moment. Really, derbies come at a really good time in my life, especially with this just happening, because I really am committed to this, and I hope that I can get a new sort of sisterhood out of it, and I hope it's for me and it works out, because I bought a lot of kit, very expensive, but you know, eBay exists. But yeah, I just want people to know that women can be trash too, because I see a lot of girls who are like, you know what, I'll just become a lesbian because it's so much easier. But girls can play you just like men, and they can be even more brutal. Don't do what she did to someone, because that's really fucked. And just remember that everyone has feelings. Like, you can't just use people like some pawn in your weird game. Like, it doesn't work like that. Someone is gonna get hurt and you have to be aware of that, and I made sure she fucking knew that. But yeah, that's my most recent venture. And I am not gonna date for a little while unless I can find a sub who is not like that, to do it for the moral of this story. So when I was speaking to this person that I was gonna go on a date with, that I went on a date with, we were discussing about what we were gonna do, and we both are into musical theatre and just theatre in general and that whole scene. So we decided we'll go and see this new musical. Now, I have been playing this musical soundtrack every single day since the day that I discovered it. On the day that I discovered it, I literally played it on loop for maybe 3 hours, and I was grooving in my headphones in this bed. It was sad. Yeah, so I had a deep love for this musical before we had even gone, and since I've been hurt so many times before, something in me was like, if this date goes badly, it's gonna taint how you feel about this musical. And I know that, like, I know that you love this musical a lot. Do you want that to happen? So I was like, I'm gonna take a self-care step, and I booked to see the musical secretly before I went on this date. I bought tickets like last minute, and I went and saw this musical. Let me tell you that I lived my best fucking life in the theatre. And it's the upload that I put on here. So that was before the date. And I know it's shady, but now, looking back on the situation, I'm so glad that I did that. And I just want it to be a sign that you should always love yourself first. And if you have a gut feeling, trust it, because it's usually right. So I went to this musical by myself first, and then I went again on a date, and it actually was really nice because I had sort of hashed out like the venue. I knew how to get there. I knew there was a bar. I knew like sort of what was going on, but I didn't tell her. But just to end it, I after I sent her the "Do not message me ever again" message, I changed my WhatsApp picture to a picture of me in a cap of the musical, which I bought the first time when I went by myself, because I knew she would know that I didn't buy that with her, because when we were at the theatre together, I just bought a pin badge. So basically, it was my way of saying fuck you. I don't know, she might interpret it that I've already been on a date with someone else to see it, and I know that goes against like my moral, but really I went on a date with myself, because you have to fucking love yourself. And I'm honestly so glad that I took that precaution in the beginning, to protect myself and protect something that I loved, because when it went to shit like it did, I had already seen it and I have good memories of it now. And when this bullshit went down with her and I found out the truth, I went right back on that website and I booked myself a front row ticket, and I was like, this bitch is not gonna ruin this for me. And what I just want to say to you is, take care of yourself and always be wise and be careful when you're going into situations with new people, because it's fucked and it's sad that you have to do that, but there's a chance that it can go wrong, and you need to be ready for the eventuality that it could happen. And obviously you want to hope for the best, but if you just go in blindly, you will get hurt. And especially if you're someone who's been hurt loads of times in the past like me, and you have a lot of like insecurities and needs like me, it felt so damn good to change my picture to that cap and just know that she didn't win this. She didn't get one over on me. It felt really good.